Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ryan Joseph Copiar. I'm a mental health professional, and I want to take a second to speak about the underlying message behind Oliver Anthony's song, Richmond, North of Richmond. And personally, I think it's a very beautiful song. I think that there is a lot of incredible messages, not just one message, but multiple messages within the song. And it's resonated with me quite deeply. As a mental health professional, though, I want to share my opinion about some of the underlying messages and meanings and really what the song is highlighting. And, as a mental health professional who works with people from all different ranges, all different backgrounds, all different socioeconomic statuses, different cultures, different races, etc., I really get to be exposed to a wide range of different individuals and the different struggles and adversities that they face. And here's one thing that's consistent. All human beings struggle. All human beings struggle. We all have our own unique struggles. And I think that, money doesn't prevent you from having problems. So I want to be very clear about that. With that having been said, being trapped, being stuck socioeconomically, there are, in many ways, a lack of resources, and in many ways, we're kind of kept inside of this box. And I think that the kind of growth or the delineation of the have and the have-nots, those individuals that, are living paycheck to paycheck, and some of them not even really living paycheck to paycheck, because if their bills came due, they wouldn't be able to afford to pay them. And that's not living paycheck to paycheck. That is living in a state of poverty, right? And unfortunately, and especially after the pandemic, that gap has widened, right? Where there's a lot more people going into the struggling to make it and living paycheck to paycheck, or even they're under, versus, a rich group of individuals, and wealthy elites might be one way to refer to them, right? Where they actually gained more money, specifically as it relates to many of the shutdowns and economic conditions of the pandemic. But I'm not here to get into speak about politics or to get into all of that. What I want to speak about is the plight that Oliver Anthony references, the real struggles that so many individuals out there are facing. Like I said, in my work, I have individuals that are coming to me that they're saying, Ryan, I don't know how to pay the bills. I don't know, I want to have a new place to move into, but I can't afford the security deposit and the first month's rent. Or, Ryan, it's not until I get my next paycheck that I'm going to have money to go out and buy food for myself and for my family. Or, Ryan, I'd really like to be able to buy a house, but with the interest rates the way they are, and, with where we are at financially, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford to do that. And it's not just, I'm not going to be able to afford to do it now. It's, Ryan, I don't know if I'm going to have the hope to ever be able to, let's just say, provide the life that I want to provide for my family. Ladies and gentlemen, that's tough. That is so tough. And if there's any individuals out there that are listening to this message that feels like, oof, Ryan, that's the spot that I'm in right now, I just want to let you know that I deeply empathize with you. Deeply empathize with you. And know that you're not alone. And know that, it's going to take some real activism. It's going to take some real individuals stepping up and really just coming out and being vulnerable, advocating for themselves, and those of us that can, advocating for others. And so that's part of what I hope this message does, is to let you know, we're out there, we are in a peaceful way working to do everything we can to get those resources and to fight for these individuals that need the support, that need these financial resources, that need these nutritional resources, that need these mental health resources, right? That's a very real drain on people's heart, mind, and soul when they're in a position where there's this hopelessness of, God, I had this dream in my heart. I just don't know if it's possible for me to provide that for my family, or if it's possible for me and my family. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of individuals out there that are struggling in that regard. And I think that Oliver Anthony's message, or one of the messages that relates to that, right, is like, hey, I'm out there busting my butt. I'm working so hard, right? And I'm not getting paid what it is that I'm worth. I know the company's making a lot of money. I know the company's making a lot of profits. I know that those that sit higher up in the company are making a lot of money. But what about the little guy? What about the guy that's going out there, every single guy or girl going out there every single day, busting their butt to work hard? Where are they? Because for them, they're not feeling that abundance. For them, they're waking up every day with scarcity, waking up wondering, hey, am I going to be able to put food on the table for my family? And I'm speaking about this in the context of the United States of America, but there are millions, perhaps billions of people all over the world that they don't even know if they're going to be able to eat today. Really think about that. Millions and millions of people on this beautiful planet Earth that has an abundance of resources. And there's individuals out there struggling, not even knowing if they're going to be able to eat. That's sad. That's wrong. And I think that songs like Oliver Anthony's, and really, as we're seeing this awakening of humanity coming up saying, whoa, this can't go on anymore. And it's gotten so bad, it's gotten so heightened that it's like, you can't hide it anymore. It's coming up. As I say with the individuals that I work with, right? It's coming up and it's going to be seen, or it's given an opportunity to be seen, right? And boy, is that happening. And as you listen to Oliver Anthony's song, right? It's like, yep, that's coming up. You can hear it in his voice. And I think, I don't know, when I checked the other day, it had been up on YouTube for 12 days and had 28 million views. 28 million in 12 days. And so it's like, yeah, that message is resonating, right? Hey, we got to do something here. Something's got to change. This is not sustainable for the mass of humanity to not even know where they're going to get their next meal from. To not even feel like the dream that their parents instilled in them about being able to have a house and a car and, not live in debt, right? That now I forget the house, forget the car. I'm just trying to survive. I don't believe that that's how God created us to be. I say, God, that's my higher power. You may call it Allah, Brahma, Source, the great I am, whatever. Or maybe you don't believe, but for me and my belief system is God didn't create us to just live with that scarcity, to live in that fear. And I think that this song by Oliver Anthony is really highlighting that, right? Yeah, it's time to wake up. It's time to shake this thing up, because it's just not working. It's just not sustainable, and it's not how we were designed to be, how we were designed to live. Certainly not on a planet that has an abundance of resources. And the other thing that I want to speak about, and this is more, kind of an expansion as a mental health professional, is all of the tremendous struggles that people are facing with their mental health right now. And this was a problem leading up to COVID. It's one of the reasons that I got into the field of working as a mental health professional, is that, there's a need for resources, and there is a lack of counselors and therapists and psychologists and other mental health professionals out there. It's time to really pour into providing more of those resources. Of course, that's a given. It's also time for us to break through and say, it's okay to reach out for help. It's okay to reach out for help. And really breaking down the stigma. I was listening to a little bit of a background about Oliver Anthony, and he faced his own mental health struggles and his own physical health struggles, right? And you can hear that in his voice. You can hear that pain. I think I would assert you could also hear some of his healing, right? But you can really hear that pain. And there's so many individuals out there that are in pain, that are struggling with depression and anxiety and fear and just, all of these what I call lower vibrations. And we've got to break down that stigma. We've got to do everything we can to break down that stigma, to let people know that they don't have to hold that pain inside, that there are safe spaces where they can connect with other individuals or connect with a helper, a healer, a counselor, a therapist, right? And that they don't have to hold this stuff inside. And so I think that that's another really big message, the hidden message, or one of the underlying messages behind the song is, hey, we got to break down the stigma here. We got to let people know it's okay to reach out for help. We got to be able to provide them different resources, not pressure them into engaging in those resources, but to let them know, hey, it's okay to not be okay. And you can reach out for help if you so choose. And here are some of these resources. And so it's not only about access to the resources. That's a big talking point in politics is well, we got to access resources. Yep, that's a big part of it, right? Here's the other part of it. Letting people know that it's okay for them to access those resources. Letting people know that they're not alone in their struggle. And I think that that's such a beautiful aspect of the message here of the song, right? Is, hey, you're not alone. You're not alone. It's okay to reach out for help. Anxiety and depression and just holding all of this stuff inside. You don't have to do it anymore. There's another way to live. There's another way to live. And so, these are the two main messages, right? Is, hey, it's time to really reevaluate how we're looking at this financial game and how this whole thing is set up, because there's a lot of people out there working so hard and feeling more hopeless now than they ever have. And that then kind of ties into and leads into the anxiety and the depression, which was all exacerbated by COVID, all exacerbated by being locked inside. And again, I'm not going to get into the political discussions of whether or not that was the right decision. Okay, but here's one thing we do know, that it had incredibly deleterious impacts to the mental, emotional, and financial health of individuals. So I don't want to get into the back and forth of saving lives and this impact. We can't quantify that, and if we go back and forth with that, it's just on a loop, right? Here's where we are now, and where we are now is there are so many people after the COVID lockdowns and after everything that happened over the past couple of years that are struggling with depression, struggling with anxiety, struggling with all that time of social isolation and now trying to get back into integrating into things, and then struggling with the financial aspect inside of things, which boy, I am really seeing that coming up in my work and even with the other individuals that I speak with, right? Is, hey, boy, we got through COVID and we did everything we could to get through that mentally and emotionally, still working on the healing process of that. But then the financial aspect of things, right? Where it's like, wow, now we're super upside down and in debt. And that really places a tremendous burden on individuals' mental, emotional, and even physical health. And so, again, this is my opinion only, and I don't come on here to make this any kind of political debate or, to make it about COVID, or how we're doing the resources, or anything like that, right? But it's an old soul living in this new world is okay. Yeah, that hits home. That resonates, right? Because I don't know if I could speak to too many people. If I was to walk down the street and pull 10 people aside, and they were to answer honestly, I don't know how many people would say, yeah, I'm doing great. Life is awesome. Everything is going great. Now, again, I know that that's not how life is, right? It's not like we're going to wake up every day and say life is great. But there's a lot of people out there hurting. There's a lot of people out there feeling hopeless. And there's a lot of people out there just looking around being like, this is what I'm in. This is the system that I'm in. What do I have to look forward to? What do I have to have hope for? Now, that can be a scary and overwhelming and negative place, or it can be an opportunity for us to unite, to come together as a human collective and say, no, it's time to change things. It's time to take a step back and say, whew, we got to do some things different here because this is not working. And so as I listen to Oliver Anthony's song, Richmond, north of Richmond, right? And it's like, wow, a lot of that stuff coming up. And I think that it's deeply resonating with people of all different political affiliations and religious affiliations and cultures, is because this struggle and kind of where we are at with this imbalance, and so many people out there struggling mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, it's not confined to one race, to one culture, to one religion, to one political party. It's all of it, right? And so again, this is a beautiful opportunity for us to come together, to unite and say, no, it's time to make a change. It's time to do things differently. And I think that a huge part of that starts with the vulnerability, right? The meeting ground that is created between vulnerability to say, I'm not doing okay, and I got to speak to somebody about it. And that could be, again, a group, right? It could be a counselor, it could be a healer, it could be a religious leader, it could be a community leader, whoever it is, right? To say, I'm not doing good, I'm not okay, I need some help. And once we get that help, say, okay, what needs to change? Because nothing changes if nothing changes. I think it's time for some change. I think that there's some great aspects of some aspects of the way that the world is, but I also think that there's a lot that needs to change. I think that there's a lot of people out there that if you say, hey, you want things to keep going the way that they are, they would say no. They would say, no, it's time for a change. So I share this message because I see this every single day in my work, and I wonder how it is, on an individual level, I help people, right? But then it comes down to, okay, how do we really create the change? How do we really facilitate a shift to get people off of that hamster wheel, right? Well, that's going to require some systemic overall shifts and changes. So please share your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if this resonates with you. Let me know, if there was any part of this message that you disagree with. And I tried to keep things overarching, kind of the 30,000 foot view, and avoid getting into politics and too much about different public health decisions and things of that nature. But I got to call it what it is. I got to call it how I see it. And as I see it, there are a lot of individuals out there struggling with depression and anxiety and hopelessness and financial struggles. And we can't just bury our head down in the sands. We can't just pretend it's not going to happen. And it's not even just about throwing money at it, right? It's about really connecting with other human beings. And I think that that's such a beautiful aspect of Oliver Anthony's song, is that you really feel connected with him, connected with his, past or maybe present pain, or just kind of where he's at, right? And so many individuals, they feel that and they connect with that. That's what it's really about. If we really want to facilitate change, we first need to create an environment for connection. So please let me know your thoughts. Let's keep things positive. Let's keep things away from, being super political or overly harsh in the comments. But I'm open to hear your thoughts about how do we facilitate this change and how do we provide people hope.